Welcome to the Deep Dive. Hey, quick note, if you're looking to boost your social media profiles, check out rapidboost.net. But today, we're getting into something really specific, something crucial for TikTok success that honestly feels like it gets overlooked way too often.
Yeah, the thumbnail. Or the cover, as TikTok calls it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know those videos that just make you stop scrolling? Well, a huge part of that magic is that very first visual you see. Killer content is essential, obviously, but that initial, visual handshake, that's what gets the click.
It really is.
So our mission today is to unpack the art, the science, and, the actual strategy behind making TikTok thumbnails that work, the ones that make people stop, look, and click.
Absolutely. It's kind of amazing how much weight that little image carries. We're talking about the still image that represents your video before it plays.
Right. Where do we mostly see these?
You see them laid out on profile grids, definitely, and also when you search for specific things. And okay, while the For You page is mostly autoplay.
Yeah, it just starts playing.
Right, but anywhere else, anywhere the user is actively browsing and choosing, those thumbnails are absolutely critical. Non-negotiable, really.
Okay, so let's dig into that. What makes these little squares so powerful? Why do they grab us?
Well, it taps straight into how we're wired visually. Our brains process images incredibly fast. We're talking like milliseconds.
Wow, that fast.
Seriously fast. So that thumbnail is your video's split-second chance to make its case. Think of it like a visual headline. It's making a promise.
A promise of what?
Could be anything. A story, an emotion, some piece of value information. If that promise isn't clear and crucially enticing right away, people just scroll on.
It's like scanning magazine covers at the checkout, right? The one that grabs you is the one you might pick up.
Exactly that. A perfect analogy.
You mentioned click-through rates earlier. Can a really good thumbnail actually, significantly move the needle on
Oh,
it?
absolutely. We're not talking small changes. A well-crafted thumbnail can potentially double, even triple your click-through rate in certain contexts, like from your profile page.
Double or triple, that's huge.
It is. And think about the knock-on effect. More clicks mean more views, which tells the TikTok algorithm, hey, people like this, potentially boosting it to an even wider audience. It's a positive feedback loop.
Okay, so if they're that important, why do so many creators just seem to let TikTok pick the first frame and call it a day?
I think it's a mix of things. Firstly, the platform makes it super easy to just pick a frame, right? It's the simplest option.
Path of least resistance.
Exactly. And secondly, maybe there's a slight misunderstanding. Because the For You page is so dominant and autoplays, some creators might feel thumbnails don't matter as much anymore.
But that's missing the picture for profile views and search.
Precisely. In any situation where the user is actively choosing, that thumbnail is prime real estate. The really successful creators, the big brands, they get this. They know a custom thumbnail is a massive opportunity to stand out, build a recognizable brand look, and boost their chances of catching fire.
All right, message received. Thumbnails equal big deal. Let's get practical. What are the core principles? What makes a TikTok thumbnail actually work?
Okay, principle number 1, clarity over clutter. Simple as that. The thumbnail's main job is to answer the viewer's silent question. Why should I click this?
What's in it for me?
Exactly. So resist the urge to overload it with stuff. Go for one clear, easily recognizable image that sums up the video's core idea, like those recipe creators. A beautiful close-up of the finished dish, instantly clear.
Makes sense. You see the food, you know what it's about. Okay, what's next?
Emotion. Emotion is incredibly powerful. It's contagious,
How do you mean?
If your thumbnail shows genuine feeling surprise, joy, shock, intrigue, or whatever people are drawn in, they immediately want to know the story behind that face, that reaction.
So showing faces helps.
Massively. Studies on other platforms like YouTube show faces and thumbnails can boost clicks significantly, sometimes like 30–40%. That human connection, even just from a still image, is really potent on TikTok too. It creates an instant, even if brief, connection.
Okay, a compelling face is a hook. What about text? I see text overlays a lot. Good idea, bad idea.
Good idea if done right. Text can be fantastic for sparking curiosity, giving a little tease without spoiling anything. But the key is brevity, like 2 to 4 words max.
Short and punchy?
Exactly. And make it bold, high contrast font so it's super readable, even tiny on a phone screen. Think about phrases that create a bit of mystery or urgency. Big mistake. How I did it. Don't try this.
Intrigue.
Right? Or using numbers, 3 tips you need, or power words that promise a benefit. Just enough to make someone think, what's this about? Without giving the whole game away.
Got it. And for those building a brand, whether it's a business or a personal brand, how does the thumbnail fit into that bigger picture?
Oh, it's crucial for branding. You want a consistent look and feel across your thumbnails, especially on your profile grid. It should feel cohesive
How do you achieve that?
by using recurring elements. Maybe it's specific brand colors, a certain style of framing, maybe even a small, consistent logo or watermark. Think of it like a visual uniform for your content.
A signature look.
Precisely. It helps your audience recognize your stuff instantly, builds familiarity, trust, and makes your brand more memorable over time.
You mentioned a fitness coach earlier at Fit by Jane who saw great results. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, she's a perfect case study. Initially, her thumbnails were just, random moments from her workout videos. Pretty standard.
What most people probably do.
Right. Then she made a conscious switch. She started creating custom covers. These had bold text focused on the benefit, like Day 10, abs on fire.
Okay, clear value.
Yep. And she used consistent background colors matching her brand, plus really high energy, engaging facial expressions in the shots.
And the results?
Pretty dramatic. Her average click-through rate from her profile and search jumped by 62%.
62%.
Yeah. Which meant thousands more profile visits each week. It even helped boost participation in her fitness challenges significantly. It showed the direct impact.
Wow. Okay, that's convincing. So if someone listening is thinking, right, I need to do this, what are the actual ways to create these thumbnails?
Well, there are basically two main paths. First, you can use TikTok's own built-in tools. They're pretty straightforward.
How does that work?
After you upload your video, in the editing screen, you can scrub through the timeline and just pick any frame you like to be the cover. Simple. And they also have a text tool built in, so you can add a headline with different fonts right there in the app.
Sounds easy enough. Any downsides?
The main thing to watch out for is the screen clutter. TikTok puts its own stuff over the video profile, icons, captions, buttons. You have to be mindful of those safe zones so your important stuff isn't covered up.
Ah, okay, so that's the in-app option. What if you want more control, a more polished look?
Then you'd create a custom thumbnail outside of TikTok using a design app. Think Canva, Adobe Express, tools like that.
So you design it separately. Then what?
You design your thumbnail image, then you actually import that image into your video edit, usually right at the very beginning, just for a few frames. Then when you go to select your cover in TikTok, you just choose that frame you imported.
Clever. So you get total control.
Exactly. Complete freedom over text, fonts, colors, effects, everything. A lot of the top creators and brands you see, this is the method they use for that really professional, eye-catching look.
You've mentioned these safe zones a few times. Can you elaborate? Why are they so important?
Yeah, it's really practical. Like we said, TikTok overlays interface elements onto your video and your thumbnail when it's viewed in certain places, like the profile grid.
The profile pic, the likes, the caption.
Right. If you put your crucial text or maybe the most important part of someone's face, right, where those overlays go, well, it gets blocked. Your text might be unreadable. The impact is lost.
Makes sense. So how do you know where they are?
You need to avoid placing key elements too close to the extreme top, bottom, or especially the right-hand side. The best way is often to use templates designed for TikTok thumbnails aspect ratios like 4.5 or 9.16. Resources like Capwing and even Canva now often have templates with these safe zones marked out for you. It takes the guesswork out of it.
That's a super helpful tip. What about color and contrast? How do you make a thumbnail pop in that endless scroll?
Think contrast. The TikTok feed itself, the interface around the videos, often has a lot of gray and dark elements. So using bright, high saturation colors, your reds, yellows, vibrant blues, can really make your thumbnail stand out visually.
Catch the eye.
Exactly. But, don't go totally overboard and make it look garish. It's a balance. And if you have brand colors, try to stick within that palette for consistency.
Good point.
And one crucial check, always preview your thumbnail really small, like shrink it down on your screen. Can you still read the text? Is the main image still clear? That's how it'll look in the grid view.
Okay, lots of great advice there. Could you maybe give us a quick checklist, something to run through mentally before hitting post?
Sure, yeah. A quick mental check. 1, is the image clear? Does it have energy or convey the right emotion? 2, if there's text, is it short, bold, and super readable even when tiny? 3, are the crucial bit spaces, main text safely inside those overlay safe zones? 4, does it visually fit with your brand's style and colors if you have them?
Okay.
And maybe the most important one, 5, would a total stranger instantly understand what the video likely offers just from the thumbnail? If you can nod yes to most of those, you're probably in good shape.
Perfect. So you've done the work, you've made these awesome thumbnails. How do you actually track? if they're working? How do you measure the impact?
Right, measurement. So TikTok gives you analytics views, average watch time, profile traffic, things like that.
But not a direct thumbnail click-through rate.
No, not specifically like YouTube might offer, but you can definitely infer the impact. You need to watch for changes. After you start implementing better thumbnails, look closely at your stats. Are you seeing an uptick in views, especially in the first couple of seconds of watch time?
Early retention.
Exactly. Also, look at your reached audience numbers. Are they growing? And pay attention to your profile views. If you see spikes there, it often means your thumbnails on the grid are compelling enough to make people click through to see more of your stuff.
So it's about connecting the dots, looking for those positive trends after you make the change.
Precisely. Observation and pattern recognition over time.
Is there a way to be a bit more scientific about it, like testing different styles?
Yes, absolutely. A/B testing is your friend here. It can be really insightful.
How would you do that on TikTok?
Well, you could create two very similar videos, maybe post them a day or two apart, but give them distinctly different thumbnails. Keep the content nearly identical.
And then compare performance.
Right. Maybe one has text, one doesn't. Maybe one uses a different main color. Maybe one shows a surprised face, the other a focused one. Even small tweaks can sometimes lead to surprisingly big differences in performance. And it's a really good habit to keep track. Maybe keep a little folder or document a swipe file of your thumbnails, noting which ones did really well and which ones, well, didn't. That helps you learn and refine your approach over time.
You mentioned another brand example, right? Ed Glowly Skin.
Yeah, they're a great example of testing paying off. They're an e-commerce skincare brand. They got really strategic with their thumbnails.
What did they change?
They moved to clean, product-focused covers using their bright brand colors consistently. But the key was they started A/B testing elements within that style.
What did they find?
They discovered that thumbnails showing smiling faces along with text designed to spark curiosity like best skin hack or secret to glowing skin got 24% more clicks from their profile grid than simpler product shots without those elements.
24%. That's significant for a business.
Absolutely. And that increase in clicks directly translated into more website traffic and ultimately more sales. It shows that testing those little elements really works.
It really drives home the point. Now, I imagine thumbnail trends probably differ depending on the content niche, right? What works for comedy might not work for education.
Totally. You definitely see patterns, for instance, in entertainment and comedy.
Yeah. What's common there?
Big facial reactions, exaggerated expressions. Sometimes you see cartoon effects added, and short, punchy text like, wait for it, or you won't believe. The goal is pure curiosity and instantly setting the funny or shocking tone.
Makes sense. What about beauty and fashion?
There, you often see close-ups. Before and after shots are huge for showing transformation. Vibrant overlays, maybe keywords like glow up or best tip, and visual consistency, that brand aesthetic, is really important for recognition.
Okay. And education or how-to videos?
Clarity is king there. You'll see neat text overlays, 3-step guide, quick fix, often with icons like arrows or check marks, faces showing concentration, or maybe that aha moment of understanding, often paired with a snapshot of the finished result, work well.
Right. Showing the outcome. And travel or food.
That's all about the visuals, usually. Stunning shots, gorgeous landscapes, colorful plates of food, people looking absolutely delighted. Often the text is minimal, maybe just a location tag or the name of the dish. It's tapping into that aspirational desire for experiences.
That's a great overview.
Yeah.
Any final pro tips on trends?
Just one quick one. Keep your TikTok app updated. They sometimes roll out new thumbnail templates or editing features, so staying current can give you access to the latest tools.
Good call. Okay, so pulling this all together, for someone listening right now, what are the practical, actionable steps to start applying all this?
Okay, step 1, plan ahead. Before you even film, think about the video's core promise. What value are you giving? And picture a potential thumbnail moment, that perfect reaction, the final product, whatever visually sums it up.
Think thumbnail first, almost.
Kind of. Step 2, design it to grab attention. Choose that high contrast still or make your custom frame. Add minimal impactful text. Check those safe zones. Prioritize clarity and emotion.
Got it. Step 3.
Stay consistent for branding, but don't be rigid. Develop a simple template maybe, but be willing to experiment and adapt based on what's working in your niche. Stay agile.
Consistency, but flexibility. Okay.
Step 4, review and tweak. Use your analytics, see what's working, what's not. Enhance your covers based on that data. Keep an eye on your profile grid, which ones pop.
Learn from your own results. And step 5.
Don't forget accessibility. Make sure text is easy to read, good contrast, decent size. Avoid making the thumbnail too busy or cluttered. Everyone should be able to quickly grasp it.
Great checklist.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, what are the big mistakes people make? The common pitfalls to avoid?
Number one is probably irrelevant or misleading covers. Clickbait that doesn't deliver, that just annoys viewers, kills your watch time, and might even get you negative feedback.
Right, don't promise what you don't deliver. What else?
Too much text. Trying to cram whole sentence onto that tiny space, it just becomes unreadable mush on mobile.
Keep it short.
Definitely. Another one is just using bland, dark, or low contrast images. They just fade into the background on the grid, get lost completely.
Make that pop.
Exactly. And finally, just totally ignoring what other successful creators in your niche are doing visually. You don't have to copy, but being aware of the visual language your audience responds to is important. You might be missing easy wins.
Good points to avoid. So as we wrap this up, what's the big takeaway? If people remember one thing about TikTok thumbnails, what should it be?
I think it's this. In that fast-scrolling world, your thumbnail is your absolute best shot to stop the scroll, make someone curious, and actually earn their view. It's that critical first step.
Optimizing them isn't some secret hack.
No, not at all. It's really about understanding a bit of human psychology, some basic design sense, and figuring out what genuinely interests your audience. It's not about gaming anything.
It's strategic communication, essentially. Focusing on clarity, sparking emotion, and staying true to your brand visually.
That's it, exactly. If you focus on those things, plan your covers intentionally, experiment, measure what happens, and keep refining, you really can transform how people engage with your content on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can go from being scrolled past to being clicked on.
Fantastic insights. Really useful stuff. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, before you hit upload on your next TikTok, just pause for a second. Look at that thumbnail you've chosen or created. Does it instantly grab attention? Does it promise a story worth clicking for? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.